You start that we're on.
Hi, friends. As per not usual, we are not scrambling to share the recording or the video because we're pre-recording.
Yes.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day, wonderful people. How y'all doing?
I love that we didn't even think about it being Memorial Day when we picked the topic. We just
No.
picked the topic,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is generosity, obligation and transactional relationships.
Dun 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 dun.
Which I have to tell on myself is my topic. And it actually sort of stemmed from the Kevin Samuels conversation that we were having a couple of episodes ago.
Yes.
Y'all, I'm sitting on a yoga ball, so forgive my awkwardness. But my whole thing with Kevin has been he was so hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who hurt him, but he was so hurt by being neglected by the women in his world that he built a whole platform full of hate around it.
Right.
And in a conversation that I was having with somebody about that, the concept of transactional relationships came up.
Explain that for people that is so people know what that is.
So John and I are friends. And John and I trade services. He likes to SOP me. And I I like to wedgie him a lot and bully him into taking really good care of himself and loving himself and seeing how magical and fantastic he is. Right. And then later he comes back to me and goes, "Oh my God, you were so right about that thing you told me." And I'm like, really?
Yeah, wrong.
So?
True. She's good, y'all. Real no bullshit. I mean, segue away from that. We'll get right back to it. She's spot on. Like, I'm like, damn. Fuck.
Oh, really? You thought I was blowing smoke up your ass? No, really. So if our relationship was purely based on the fact that we trade SOP for facilitation and energy work, then that would be transactional. But I love John because he's John, and John loves me because I'm me.
Absolutely.
And the perks of us loving each other is that we share our magic with each other, and we come here and collaborate on these sorts of things together, and we facilitated classes together, and there are so many perks to this relationship. But the relationship itself is not built or predicated on those transactions.
Right.
A kept woman situation is a transactional relationship. Yeah. She is being financially provided for, and he is getting whatever he's getting out of that situation.
And it necessarily, to clear it up, it doesn't always have to be about sex either.
Doesn't always have to be about sex. No, it can be companionship. Yep. It can be, he's got disposable cash and he likes her company.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they are not together for the sake of being together, then that relationship is purely transactional.
And most people don't get that.
All relationships have transactions.
Bingo.
But not all relationships are transactional. And that conversation that I was having brought me to that conclusion. And it also clarified for me that I'm not really big on transactional relationships. And if I'm going to be in a romantic relationship, he's going to have to be generous, genuinely generous.
Say more about him being generous. What does that look like?
Generosity is about, for me anyway, generosity is about the energy behind the gift. Whether that gift is time or financial or tangible, I have been gifted lots of things. I'm like, this is a gift. This was my Mother's Day gift 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, but if I if I make you dinner and then later I'm like, well, John, I made you dinner. To me, that's not generosity. There was a string attached to that gift.
Yeah, a hidden agenda, as some people call
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Because
if
guys do that. Guys do that a lot of times when they think they spending money and they take somebody out. They were like, "You do the," and there was a joke that Chris Rock or somebody said once before. You do know it's if you no, it was DL Hugh. He was like, "You do know if you order that lobster steak, dick comes with that too." And so, uh, and that's that contractual relationship that a lot of people don't realize they even working out of. And flip side for women who think, well, if I put this coochie on him, he's gonna be mine. That's not the thing. You might not want to take that avenue. The avenue probably got a lot of pit holes in it. A
I
lot of
mean, just be clear about your transactions.
yes,
Just be clear.
yeah.
But I think for me, the reason that a generous man is required is because I am a generous woman.
Say more.
I will, first of all, so there's generous and then there's my conditioning of overgiving. And I know this about myself and I'm usually fine with it until I'm not. But when I'm not, oof, I'm so sorry for you because I'm
Yeah.
done. But I actually love nourishing and nurturing people. It is part of my make and my build. But because I have this tendency to overgive, I need somebody who is as nurturing and nourishing as I am. Otherwise, it's going to be a hot mess later. And I'm retired from hot messes. My last hot mess, it was sufficient for this lifetime in terms of hot messes. So he needs to give for the sake of giving. He needs to give from his heart and give because he wants to. And he needs to know that if I've got to hear, well, I fill in the blank, it's not going to go well for him.
Yeah. And that comes back to the whole piece that I think a lot of people I see live out of obligation. They parent out of obligation. They're in marriage out of obligation. They have sex out of obligation. They cook because it's their obligation. Out of obligation. And obligation is those things that show up that you feel whenever you feel that energy that you think you have to, ought to, or must. That's that obligation, and it actually fucking drags. I'm gonna switch because I'm gonna even say because the last weekend I went to this class and Dan was talking about this called communion, and uh, I've been realizing that for me to change my body, all you have to do is have greater communion with your body. And I say this,
Mm.
once you have greater communion with your body, then the relationship with everybody else around you changes.
Say more about that, please.
Because if I'm in oneness with my body, having communion, and really, like for example, last night, and I think I shared your text with you. Last night, I went to the store. No, it wasn't you. Who did I send that to? I went to the store and I went through the count of I went past the freezer department and I went right past the ice cream and I opened the door and I held the ice cream and then I put the ice cream in front of my body and I said, "Do you want to buy this?" And my body was like, "No." So I put it back and I left. Then I went back and I was like, well, let me see if I can find this, my dad's root beer, which is like hard root beer. And what's that?
The dinner you made last night?
Yeah. That's it. Yes, yes, yes. Now that is, and it's not obligation when I cook like this. Tori gets to eat my food like that all the time. When you talk about doing things, I do it because I love to do it. I'm doing it, and here's the piece about not coming out of obligation, having communion with you. Last night I had communion with myself and all the food because I went to buy some things at the store, mushroom soup, because I had this communion because it's something that I desired. I'm saying that if people would like Mr. Samuels, If he would have had more communion with himself, he wouldn't have spent the rhetoric of downing somebody else. Because I'm not saying that some of the people we talked about were not there, not true, and they're not like that. I'm like, you attract what you are. You really attract what you are. And when I say, let me say more about that, because you're not that all the time. But if you find yourself hanging out with losers, then something about your DNA in that 10 seconds is loser energy. And I mean, but you don't have to stay that. Here's the secret. You don't have to stay that way. You can bounce out of that shit. You
We
don't.
can maybe make this another topic in the future because I think that what you're saying right now, I think is how the law of attraction got misunderstood, misapplied, and misused and like led people astray.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily if I hang out with losers, I'm a loser.
Right.
It's more I have a belief in valuing losers
Yes.
to like some degree. So
Yeah.
I'll give a different example that's actually brilliant for this illustration. My ex-husband lied to me about every fucking thing and for no reason. I'm not the person you need to lie to. I am the most kumbaya person ever. So like, why the fuck are you lying to me? We can figure out literally anything. Why are you lying to me? Right? So fast forward to 3 months after we split up this final time. And this dude is lying to me about some shit that ain't my business. It's your life. I don't care what you're doing with it. But why are you lying to me about it? Like, there's no reason. And as I'm doing my normal, I'm going to catch you in your lie thing, I was like, why? And I like put my phone away and I took a deep breath and it occurred to me. I had spent years, over a decade, thinking I'm a liar and cleaning up all the places that I lie because this dude keeps lying to me. So clearly I'm a liar. That is a misapplication of the law. I had a belief that men lie. Because of this belief that I had operating that men lie, he couldn't be honest with me if he wanted to. In that moment, erased it, wrote a new story, and he called me back and was like, you know what, I lied.
Yes. Yes. And that's the energy. And that's why when we get on here, I talk about the energy stuff. And I'm really on this right now because vulnerability here, 101. I'm realizing that me and my body has extra weight because I've been waiting for something. And the wait is over. The communion is here.
There's a Baptist church choir singing right now. I'm sorry, and he said the wait is over in my Southern Baptist background.
The waiting is over. And I am going to be different with my body on everything. There's nothing that I won't eat or drink. But before I do that, I will ask my body first, what does it want to eat or drink? I'm no longer am I going to just randomly, I'll do that. No. So I say that because it gets me out of the space. Like I remember I did it very short, but not, I guess with the kids, I'm sure you say, you never did things out too much out of obligation. I can't do things out of obligation because it makes me feel like I want to cry. I can't
but that is an example of communion. You know that about yourself and you honor that about yourself.
Yeah. And it almost has a slight feel sometimes. I know people are like, yeah, John, you're selfish. It is. I'm selfish with my space and my time, especially now.
And you should be.
I mean, because I think that if people did that, and one of my biggest wishes for my mom is that she spent more time with her and stuff, more the stuff she wanted to do. And I was really kind of frustrated that she didn't, if she hadn't, because I'm beginning to realize it would just allow. I don't know if my mom, like when you showed me that picture about going off to camp, my mom was a big reader and stuff, but my dad and my mom did a lot of stuff, so she did. But being more selfish with self allows you to be more giving with others. So the generosity actually expands.
Yes.
And there, where's access called some bullshit called generosity of spirit.
Hmm.
It's not bullshit. It's bullshit because people aren't willing to be that.
I love the way you said that. That's
You
hilarious.
know,
Yeah.
like the generosity of spirit. Like if you're ever with somebody, like I do men's work, and so some brothers that I meet and I like, will you be my mentor? Well, I will mentor people. I really won't mentor people because I don't like mentoring because it seems obligated. I don't want no obligation, and I'm not. See, I'm still figuring this shit out, and I don't want you to make me your source because I would change on a dime. Because when I figure out it's supposed to be something different, I'm gonna switch. But I think a lot of times people looking at people, tell me how to do and be. I'm not saying all people that I met like that, like, but what I'm saying is that I'm hesitant because I'm just figuring this out with creator. I'm figuring this out with my body. I'm figuring this stuff out with earth. I'm figuring this stuff out in my relationship still with Tor. I'm not arrived. I don't, and I know this here, get this, I'll never arrive
Yeah.
because I'm always on the journey. I'm always,
So
my friend Bernie says, I'm always on a pilgrimage of
now
trying to
we're lapsing out of show and into Lila's facilitating job.
go
So
ahead.
how can you look at mentoring differently
Mhm.
so that you can be of service or be of contribution to these people that are showing up and asking you to contribute to them without that energetic, because it can be whatever the fuck
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want
yeah.
it to.
No, no. I mean, there's certain people that I work with, and
Yeah.
one of the things I tell some people now you letting the cat out of the bag. Some people ask me, and I say, get back with me. But then what's happening is, for me, I don't waste my time with people because I know that people want certain things. But I had a conversation with I talk about this guy all the time, Bernie. People don't want to put any effort in being different. They just want things to be different. There's somebody that I know that I like a lot that made a huge change last week. But this person, and she was like, oh, it's not an access. I'm making this change. I was like, you don't have to make an access. You just have to put effort to become more conscious. Access is not consciousness only. It's an avenue, one of the avenues.
Mhm.
And so I told her, fuck anybody who judges you because you choose to do something different. If you switch, if that's the case, then I'm not the one like that because I'm like, while this works for me, I'm down with it, you know. And I say this because whenever you're down with anything, relationship, and like we're talking about generosity spirit, we're talking about this so that you can have more for a more personal, a more present relationship with everything, starting with you. I don't have any transactional relationship with myself. I'm not either for my mom used
Mm.
to call it tit for tat. I don't do
Mhm.
I don't do
Yeah.
tit for tat, not titties for tat, but that's a different thing. That's a different, you know. But tit for tat, meaning I don't know how to do that. I mean, uh,
I scratch your back, you scratch my back, but that is
yeah,
the extent of our
yeah.
relationship.
As a Leo, I'm gonna scratch your back all the time, baby. Scratch mine too, but it's not. You don't have to. You know, uh, I almost went dirty on that, but I forgot.
Almost, almost. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah. But anyway, because I was like, well, no, I'm thinking about itches that people have that need to be scratched. Oh my God. Went there. Yes, I did. But anyway,
Everybody's getting their itches scratched this
scratched.
morning.
Yes, yes. Happy holidays, everybody. But real talk though, uh, the generosity of spirit is like you can tell when you're around those individuals. Like when you show up the salad, if you when you eat my food, you're gonna feel the generosity of spirit. And I mean, also when I see somebody, and it doesn't just show up, and here's the other thing, people think it has to be money. Money can be one of the things. And I realized this once before. I was like, oh man, I don't give enough money away and everything. But I spend a lot of time with people. And if time and this reality is money, I've given a lot of money away because of the way I approach and the way I do, you know.
Especially if you look at your hourly rate,
Yeah,
your average hourly rate.
yeah, yeah. So people get a lot more than what they bargain for. And what how can we all be that with each other? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm not telling people you got to do this. So I'm like, but how, especially us that are in a relationship. I'm just like this topic this today. about how many people are in a relationship and they living out obligation. That's because I can't watch TV a lot. Like last time of those housewives or whatever, and I watch that garbage. I'm like, the message that they send their daughters. No wonder the
Ooh.
damn girls don't want to grow up. Fuck, I don't want to grow up because I'm trying to still be like I'm 20, but you 45,
Mm,
40. Embrace the beauty that you be.
mm.
I don't get
So
this.
then that brings me to like, so we're talking about it starting with us,
Yeah.
but if we don't know ourselves and from there value ourselves, then there is no place else to go.
Yeah. So I used to believe that. I
Okay,
used
tell
to
me.
believe
Tell
that. I
me.
used to fucking believe that. And what I came to realization is just like the sun show up every day, so do
Hmm.
you. You have an
Hmm.
every day. There's a movie that I watched. I thought was pretty cool called 50 New Dates or 50 Dates, 50 uh,
51st dates.
50 First Dates.
Yeah.
What if your choice, like, and I used to realize that because if you don't have that, then you are living in victimhood. And victimhood is a bitch. If that bitch, she will pull you down and drown you like a fish without gills. I guess
You
fish
just
have
opened
gills.
up like a whole like Pandora's box of potential future topics. But I want to like,
And the reason, can I explain why I say that though?
yeah.
I think we don't tap out. And what I mean, tap out into the universe. Because many people are trained to get something from somebody else without thinking for themselves. And in the
Okay.
process of doing that, in the process of doing that, they lose sight that they could change their scenario like that. The universe, see, the universe is as magical as you allow it to be. Okay, when you look up the sky, the same sky I'm looking at, you're looking at the same fucking sky.
Yeah.
And the magic that's there could fall down on anyone if you choose. But you have to, it's like, is this container full, half full, or half empty? It's going to be the experience that you have now. But that experience, like when I was younger, I see certain things happening to me, then I see something happen to somebody else, and I'm like, oh, usually people get jealous of something that other thing happened to somebody else is greater than what they imagine is happening to them. Instead of saying, what would it take for me to be that or have some of that or get that type of energy? Like what I told a kid this like 2 weeks ago. I was like, dude, what if you had no bad or good stuff happen? You just have experiences. That means
Yeah.
that you take the weight off of it and then you can change like the women. Like I think one of your friends, I read one of the message when we talk about that boy's name is
Kevin.
Kevin. Uh, how women sometimes have had men like that, and it's just like, and the question I would ask is that, so what question haven't you asked yourself when you're laying in bed? Like, what tape are you playing? Whose
Hmm.
tape are you playing?
Hmm.
What would it take for you to ask yourself, which would be totally different than maybe your mama, your daddy, your aunts, your uncles, your grandmamas, your teachers, your preachers, whatever? What about me? What do I know? And what I'm
Hmm.
saying is, I think that every time you take a breath, you have a glimpse of you had a dream at one point. That energy of the dream of one point is the possibility that something could be fucking different. And the only reason I say that is that most of the most magnificent things that we're attracted to started with somebody who thought totally different than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Prince was coming out trying to be like every motherfucking else, every other singer, he wouldn't have been Prince.
It wouldn't have been Prince.
But you get what I'm saying? Because what happened, and then with the ridicule that he got, and I'm older, so I'm telling myself, so I'm much older than Lila. When that motherfucker was in high school, everybody thought he was gay.
I mean,
The
really,
judge,
we kept questioning it. Let's just be honest.
yeah, but even to the point, even I'm going to this point, even I want even with that analogy that I'm giving right there, that's a double negative. Because why am I wondering somebody have to be something I assume is different, is wrong in being gay? You
I
know,
didn't assume it was wrong. I was just like, that's interesting.
but but he was willing to be so different that he did not give a fuck about people's ridicule and their
Oh
judgment.
yeah, I feel that. I mean,
And
I
so he
also
was
feel like
nobody
he
different.
probably wasn't because a lot of toes got curled, but I digress.
Woo!
Um, I wanna read one because I wanna draw like clear lines for people. I want to make sure that I understood what you said.
Okay.
So I said, know yourself and value yourself.
Yes.
And you said, well, maybe. What
Yeah.
if you could start fresh every day?
That. Know yourself. What I meant by that. Sorry, I'm glad you cleared that up. Allow yourself and knowing yourself to be different,
Yeah.
but not stuck to the
So,
obligation. Not the obligation of this is so. As John Ashford, I have to show up as the father, the husband, the African American male.
but even like, what does that look like, and what does that mean?
That means that I don't, because truly now some people like I hear right now people, oh my God, I don't consider myself African American only anymore, and I show up like that. And I know that some people take offense to that because I say that because, well, you think you're white? Fuck no. Fuck you. If we've ever thought that in advance, we hear fuck you. What I'm saying is this: I'm so much more than that, that I'm not allowing that this reality's words to describe me. Like, I went to a meeting in the county. I work for Multnomah County. And what I mean about being true to yourself, you were right. You have to be true to yourself. We went to a meeting and they have these pronouns that they want you to describe yourself. He, she, they. So, okay. So I'm sitting in the meeting and I was like, well, if somebody can be they, then I can be it because I'm the shit. I'm it. Okay. So if we're going to play, so I know this is going because here's the piece about it. What does it take for you to control your own rhetoric? So
Yeah.
if somebody open the door and say, well, we're going to change the pronouns. Well, motherfucker, I'm changing my pronoun right now. You know, I'm from Funktron, 3 galaxies away. I'm
I
it.
love you.
I'm the shit. And I'm it because at the same time, I don't describe myself being male, female. I'm male in gender and biology, the biology, but my way of looking is like universal.
Yeah.
So somebody say, oh, you have, like, I remember listening to some conversation. I have a friend that I went to school with, and he was like, you know, as a man, I'm like, as a man, I can be what the fuck I want to be.
That part. I love that we're gonna wrap up really soon, but I love the story of the toddlers playing with ex-gendered toy. You know, so like a little boy playing with dolls and having, or a kitchen set, and somebody being like, well, aren't you afraid they're going to grow up to be what? Somebody who cooks? A parent? What am I afraid of? Which is insanely fucking ridiculous. My daughter played with my son's Tonka trucks and the fire truck. We all love the fire truck. It was big and it made sounds. Um, and my son, my big ass football player built 3-year-old, played with my daughter's plush baby doll. It was like soft in the middle, but it had those plastic arms and
Yeah.
plastic legs and a big plastic head.
Yeah.
And really had to show him, like, honey, this is not how you hold a baby, which was in a football hold. So the head's up here, the body's down here, and he's got the blanket thrown over the shoulder and he's pushing the stroller. Let's learn how to hold a baby, maybe. My only problem with this is that you are holding the baby in a chokehold and he's not going to live. Like, this is my problem with this dynamic right here. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation. I have a friend here, Carlos Wyndham, who's I really admire. He's one of my. He won't if he sees this. He's been one of my teachers when I started really getting in. I was doing race talks, and in Portland through Resolution Northwest with him, and my biggest takeaway is that I didn't always agree with Carlos what he says, but he was willing to show up the way Carlos was going to show up. And so I love that brother because he's essentially him. I
Yeah.
mean, if I have a question, he's not gonna give me no bullshit answer. He's gonna be like, and I might agree with the answer, and I might disagree with the answer, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge the brother for it because that's where he is,
Yeah.
and that's what he's being. And
Yeah.
and sometimes he might be in left field, right field, center, or home plate. I don't know. But my point of what I'm saying is that I, I want to go back and really make sure that I tie this together. Being essentially you're willing to let go of transitional relationships. You're willing to be present. The generosity is actually at your core.
It
The
is
generosity,
generosity and it's not obligation. It's not
obligation,
transactional.
possession, and
Yeah.
but you have to be willing to be you. And sometimes, like I say to some of my brothers in the group that I work with, are you willing to be that? And are you willing to let lose and let go of others who are not willing to allow you to be that, so that you can truly be free in who you are?
We'll have a being you conversation in the future, y'all.
Yes.
And probably another being you class.
Yes, it's coming soon. Go to my
Um,
website. Oh, wait. Please, people, please, if you're just first time seeing this, you'll see this on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, Being John Ashford. I'm really trying to get my numbers up. I went to my numbers and I was really kind of sad because it's like less than 300. I'm trying to get to like 3,000. Can somebody help a brother out? So let's multiply this time 100. I'll just say, let's say. Anyway.
what other asks do you have, sir?
Uh, and people be kind. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit longer. It's a holiday, so I can't. I'm spending a little more
Hang
time.
out, y'all. Nobody's turning into a pumpkin today.
So check
It's
this
not
out.
even Monday.
I'm gonna ask people not to react to shit
Mm.
and see what it's like to be proactive instead of reactive.
Okay, I have a tool for you, y'all, to go along with John's ask. So, my teacher, Perry Chase, has a new container in her community called Hearth. And it is going to be mostly facilitated by the fabulous Angel Grant. I adore her so much. And she gave us this tool and she said, when I feel my stress response kick in and hers is freeze, she's like, I make myself breathe for 7 seconds. Just breathe. Don't do the things. My thing, by the way, is to go like this, but on the inside. You don't see me going like this, but the inside of me is like, ah, like bracing for impact. But instead of doing any of that, we're just going to breathe for 7 seconds. And then after that 7 seconds, you can do whatever you're going to do. But like, give yourself that 7 seconds of breathing. Don't hold your breath. Breathe for 7 seconds. And then carry on.
Yeah,
If you feel like freaking out at that point. I
everything.
have another tool.
But true, it's very true.
Yeah. What's coming up?
I have go to my website. I have a bunch of one-off.
BeingJohnAshford.com.
Yeah, I have a bunch of things coming up on there. I have a foundation class the third week of June. I shouldn't kind of have my calendar. I have a hold on. Let me just pull this shit up. Let me look at the calendar. Brace yourselves, people. It's a holiday. What you
While
got?
you brace yourselves, I am healing burnout, which is why everything is taking so fucking long. So Feast is coming. It's actually actively being built in. It's going to be housed inside of Larissa Parsons' community, the Slow Bird. So we'll talk about that. It is an experience with ending your feast or famine pattern in your life. And that can be with your finances, with your body, with your relationships, wherever you experience that feast or famine. Like you've got so much time and then you got no time at all. We will stop that shit. And there's going to be another miracle workshop coming.
When is it going to be?
I don't have a date. I just realized that the last one started in March, so the next one should start in June. So next week I will tell you when it's gonna happen because I
Yeah.
will have looked at I will have run away from home, not once but 3 different times, and I will feel refreshed-ish.
You're funny.
I'm telling the truth though. Like when I spend time doing absolutely nothing, then I can actually do the things. But I need like a few days of doing absolutely nothing to wrap my head around to like, oh, this is how much energy I have and this is what I want to put that energy into. Like I already know that the energy is going into the miracle making workshops and feast, but like when that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
a couple weeks of paper plates.
So I got a bunch of stuff, y'all. So I'm just start off like this. I got a lot. Like this is what my calendar look like. On the 11th, I'm doing a class with my sister Dorinka from Mexico City. It's called From Minion to God Goddess. That's one thing
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. Gonna be kind of interesting. On the 12th of June, I have Being You and Parenting with Money. Uh,
Wait. Being you with parenting?
yep, and money.
When's that?
It's the 12th of June. It's all on
All
my
right.
website. It's 12th of June. And I think this class is like $20, $25, I think I have this class for.
Take
I
my
have a
money.
foundation class the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th year. And then I'm hosting a 3-day body class with Connor on the 4th, the 24th, 25th, 26th. We start in the night after the first day of the class. We're all going to see Earth, Wind, and Fire and Santana. So we got
Mm-hmm.
Tori and I arranged that for people. And then in July, at the end of June, I'll be going to Canada to do some classes in Canada. And then and then in July, I go to uh, Mexico City to do foundation
Did
class.
you say foundation on the 17th?
Yes.
Friends, if you've had a bars class, go to foundation with John.
Man,
You're welcome.
man, I'm saying I'm on fire, y'all. But
Like
anyway, it's not about being
seriously,
fire.
foundation was like so fucking good. So
Yeah,
good. So good.
yeah.
So do yourself that
It
favor.
actually just opens up shit. And it's not. And this is the other thing I want to say. I'm different than most CFs, certified facilitator for access. It's not the only way. And like I said, this is a class. I did a foundation class in Florida. People are like, well, I'm like, what do you mean the only way? Don't, no, please. I don't teach anything that I think is just one way. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
not me. And I'm like, it's a doorway to other possibilities for you.
I have had two foundations with two different facilitators, and I will say that they were dynamically different and equally delicious. But I walked away from Sarah's with something that I think I just needed like a lot sooner. I mean, you get it when you get it, but like also if I had gotten it in 1994, it would have been a whole lot different. Um, and I'm going to give it to you guys for free, but still go to John's foundation. You're not wrong. And maybe we can like have a whole
That's we'll talk about. Let's write that down. You're not
okay.
wrong. That man, that could be a month of Mondays.
Okay, you're not wrong.
And I
Got
think we
it.
need to go. It's 38 after the hour.
We do
My
need
hair,
to
my
go.
hair is talking about it wants to go play right now.
Thank you for being here with us, friends, and thank you for staying long.
Yes, love you. Love you guys. Have a wonderful holiday for those of you in the States and everybody else. Enjoy your day.